what is your initial reaction to Real Madrid losing to Mallorca 1-0?
It's despicable. It's pathetic. I mean, I don't know. Like there is the benefit of doubt. People want to defend that our injury list has grown. Right before the game started, we lost Thibaut Courtois. We're obviously down Benzema. Eder Militao got hurt last game as well. We're still down Lucas Vasquez, and we're down Ferland Mendy. So yes, we have a full injuries list of players that we'd like to have. But listen, I don't know if it's just me. I don't think we need the Ballon d'Or winner to beat 10th place Mallorca. Is that just too much to ask anymore? Am I being just too egregious? And look, Tchouaméni, back in the game, he had a great game, but he's still unfit. He's not 100% fit. Alaba, thank God, is somehow be able to shake his injury, but he's still unfit. But still, Real Madrid have to get these games done. Look, I don't know if the league is already awash. I don't really know what to really believe anymore. I mean, Real Madrid did not play good enough to win this game at all. I mean, they were just kind of ineffective. And a lot of that is that this is problems that we knew we had in January. Maybe we could have done some different because we're having to play Rodrigo at striker. Look, Rodrigo's a great player. I love Rodrigo, but he's not a 9. What can he do as a 9? That's like playing Kai Havertz at 9. It's ineffective, doesn't work, and that's why he got a 3.6 rating. It's not good enough. And Marco Asensio, he had an absolute nightmare of a game. I mean, had a stellar goal in our last league match, but this one comes on, misses a pen, and just puts in an absolute nothing performance. And I think the best player on the pitch that we had was Tchouaméni, but obviously he's not 100% fit. He can't play full games yet, but still, I think this falls more upon our board. Our board has failed us. It's failed the entire team. You know, it's failed Ancelotti. Ancelotti has come out and has been reported that he wanted players in January. When Cancelo was available, he wanted Cancelo. And look what Cancelo's already doing. 2 assists in 2 games for mine. You know, that would be nice to have. I think that'd be nice to have. We're having to rough it out with Carvalho. Carvalho didn't play horribly, but yet again, he's not a game changer like Cancelo is. But I think this also falls a little bit upon Vinicius Jr. I love Vinny. I will never, ever come on here and say Vinny is, you know, like other people are bashing Vinny. But as the third best player on this team, I expect him to take our pens for us. Look, Asensio is more of a veteran player of this team, but I don't want to see Asensio take our pens. I want it to fall into the best player's hands. And Vinny is our best player. He should be taking these pens for the higher moments because of what that game was. Because, look, we're going to be scrapping for a draw here. I mean, like, what are we? Some mid-table club right now? We're trying to, hopefully we can salvage a point against the mighty Mallorca. Like, this is belittling of us. It's a complete embarrassment, and it goes on mostly from the board, but some of these players, we have to rely on some of our veteran players. Look, Valverde, I've already given you 5 games. You have to show me something, man. Where is this? What happened to you during the World Cup? What did they do to you? I don't get it. He looks unrecognizable. He's playing with almost no soul out there, and it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot to, you know, turn this team around. Everybody's going to have to get fit, but realistically, that's not how sports work. We can't just rely on, hopefully we all stay healthy for the entire duration of a season. That's unrealistic. That's why there's January in place to make signings, to plug a couple holes and get you by until players can get fit to fill in those, you know, vacant spots. But that's not what we've done. And realistically, it's looking like we just sold the league to Barca. I mean, we basically just hand gifted him. You know what? We just decided to run it back, you know, old Buccaneer style, and hopefully we don't get injured. And guess what? You got hurt. And now it's falling apart.
And obviously, in a few minutes here, we'll probably talk about, is the La Liga title race officially over? So stay tuned for that. But if you're done, I do have my thoughts on this.
Yeah, you can go on it.
Look, overall, this was a despicable Real Madrid performance. This was a performance. It looked like Real Madrid are a mid-table club. Real Madrid are supposed to be the premier team in La Liga, along with Barcelona, but you consider Real Madrid the best team in La Liga. And for a large part of the season, at the beginning of the season, they were. When they were fully fit, by far and away, they were the better team. They were better than Barca. That's why they beat them in El Clasico. Obviously, they have been absolutely ravaged by injuries, and that's unfortunate. But this loss and the rest of this season's losses fall on one man, and technically multiple people, but one man, Florentino Perez and the Real Madrid board. You mentioned it. This board is absolutely despicable. I'm not even a Real Madrid fan, and I'm upset for you because this board did absolutely nothing. They had the opportunity to fix some of these problems. You can't fix every problem in January, but they could have done some things. Joao Cancelo was on his knees begging to come to Real Madrid before he went to Bayern Munich. Ancelotti was on his knees begging Perez to get the deal done, and he said, no, we're not getting it done. You have to trust Vincent Tobias and fucking
Vince,
Carvajal, who's fucking
Vince's
pretty much, I mean, if Carvajal runs more than like 60 meters, he's already begging for a substitution. I mean,
Yeah,
this guy, he's
and
old,
also
he's
the board
washed.
also even pointed at, and the board even pointed at Lucas Vasquez, a guy
Lucas
who's injured. I
Vazquez.
mean, they're I mean, he's injured. I mean, I don't know how you can rely on a guy that's injured. But even the other guy, was it? I thought it was
Vincent
Vinicius
Tobias.
Tobias.
Yeah,
Vinicius Tobias.
Vinicius. Yeah,
He's
Vinicius.
not
I
even on
don't
the
even know.
squad list. I thought
He's
he
in the
was Vinicius.
Castilla.
Look, to be fair, look, where is he? If you're looking at, then bring him up, play him some games. I don't
Yeah.
get why you're even mentioning his name to Ancelotti. If it's like, oh look, you have this guy. Well, you haven't even put him on the squad list for
Yeah, exactly.
Ancelotti to try. What? Ancelotti's not going to be there for 5 years until this kid's actually good enough to play. I don't get it.
And the reports is that Tobias is going to be a phenomenal player, but not yet. He said he's not ready. So you can't say, oh, we're not going to go get Joao Cancelo, one of the best fullbacks in the world. Even though he wasn't on good form recently, he's immediately picked back up since he's left Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. We knew that was going to happen. We knew how good Joao Cancelo was, and he just needed a change of scenery. He would be doing this for any team. If he joined Real Madrid, he would have immediately stepped up his form in the same way that he stepped up his form when he joined Bayern Munich just now, getting 2 assists. Like you said, it was inevitable this was going to happen. This falls on Florentino Perez, and we mentioned it before. I don't know if it's because of the stadium or whatever, but Perez, you need to pony up some money, and you should have made some signings. It needed to happen, and it even goes back to the fact, look, Rodrigo is a phenomenal player. He's going to be arguably one of the best players in the world in the future. It is going to happen, but he is not a number 9. That is not his position, and he's played there before, and he's done well, but you got to understand, his thing, he needs space to operate. He is not a guy who can be effective in these types of games against Mallorca, who are pretty much going to put 10 men behind the ball. He is not that type of striker. And this game would have been perfect for Benzema. Obviously, he's not fit. But Benzema is the type of striker, he can find those spaces, and he will get you a clinical finish when it needs to happen. An Erling Haaland type of player who finds the space. Rodrigo is not that type of striker. He's going to try to create chances. He's going to try to dribble through. You can't dribble through a team that is parking the bus with 10 men behind the ball. He was always going to be ineffective against a team like Mallorca. The only way it would have worked is if they got an early goal and got the lead, and then Mallorca have to come out and play a little bit. But it was the exact opposite. Nacho gets the own goal. Mallorca pretty much sit back the entire game, and Real Madrid could not create anything because of that. They were trying to cross the ball in. They were trying everything. They looked like a team that was desperate. And this is basically just goes to show that this board failed this team, failed Carlo Ancelotti. And honestly, I feel bad because this team could win the Champions League if they were all fit. And this team still has the players to do that. And they should be winning La Liga. But they needed to make a few signings. And now it's looking like it's over.
I mean, I can't disagree with any of the points you realistically made. I mean, we played despicable, and I think even in the broad end of things, we're also this is a different problem, but just with La Liga, there's way too many fouls. We got fouled 20 times. Like our players are going to get because look, we're ravaged with injuries, but we're probably the most targeted team in football. I've never seen shit like this. I mean, this is something we talked about a little bit off camera, but this stuff I was mentioning soon as Eden Hazard joined. When Eden Hazard joined, dude, I swear I've never seen so many fouls in my entire life. Our players can't hold the ball without getting fouls, and most of them are targeted to Vinicius Jr. How can one player get fouled 10 times in one game?
It's a miracle. Look, Vinicius is still fit.
Yeah, it's mostly for his young age and just how he's able to still spring up. But the fact that these players, like, they foul Vinny and they're like scoring, they're celebrating, like, oh my god, like they just scored a hat trick.
It was unbelievable.
It's despicable, man. It's disgusting. And look, I get Vinny is a guy who likes to play into it. He likes to, in Spanish, me and my cousin always say baila Vinny baila, which is dance, because that's what he likes to do, and that's his Brazilian flair. But look, it's completely uncalled for every player just to have this target out on Vinny. I mean, he can't even sign people's jerseys anymore without Mallorca fans hackling him. I don't understand. Like it's really like mind-boggling to me, but I think that's a bigger problem with the league. I mean, we're getting
Yeah.
Vinny won us a pen, fair enough, but I mean, we're getting fouled incredibly high, to a high amount of times, and it could be catching up because we're an aging team. I mean, we're no spring
Yes.
chickens, but like they're adding up on our team.
And also, like, okay, first of all, to add on to your point with the fouls, I saw the statistic and I sent this to you. Vinicius Jr. has been fouled 20 more times than Neymar this season. And we all consider Neymar one of the most fouled players of all time because of the way he plays. But to be fouled 20 more times than Neymar is absolutely mind boggling. And what's even more mind boggling is when players like Mafio for Mallorca. They ask for a substitution so that they can get a standing ovation for fouling a player. I have never seen that. A standing ovation for fouling a player. These fans hate Vinicius so much. It's absolutely unbelievable. But then I also wanted to make a different point here, and it's about Real Madrid's aging squad. And it's also these players are playing too many games. And I feel bad for Real Madrid because they have to play the Club World Cup coming up. But this season, and I've seen this with Chelsea, with Liverpool, many different teams, they're underperforming because of the amount of games that have been played. So many teams are ravaged by injury this season, and it's because the World Cup. I mean,
That
so
was the
many
World
games
Cup.
have been played. I saw a statistic that in this calendar year so far, like from February to February, February 2022 to February 2023, which is now, like Real Madrid, Chelsea, Liverpool, we've all played 60, 65 games. It's mind-boggling. Of course, players are
Yeah,
going to get injured.
and players have come out, and most notably, I mean, Thibaut Courtois came out and I think it was right heading into the World Cup or something, saying that the players don't get enough time for rest,
And I agree.
and he did predict that you're going to see people get more dinged up, and speaking of it, I mean, he picked up
He
a
got
ding
injured
today. I mean,
today.
it's so much. I mean, he's a goalkeeper. I mean,
He's
we
a
don't really see
goalkeeper,
goalkeepers get
exactly.
injured that much, but I mean, it's so demanding. It's the most demanding, year that we've ever asked from our players,
Mhm.
because especially with the World Cup being
Mid-season.
pushed, which that was a whole different thing we talked about way back then, that we think it should have never been moved, but it did, and it's having its effects.
Yeah.
But I won't let that, I could use that, be like, oh, Madrid are, have all the cards against them like we mostly do, but we should not need, like you said, this is a good game for Benzema. We should not need a Ballon d'Or winner to
I
beat
agree.
10th place
That's
Mallorca.
yeah.
That's not what needs. Yeah, it would be nice to have them, but the players within the personnel we have. I mean, Nacho is more decorated the entire Mallorca franchise. I mean, literally, with the people that we have, we should be able to get the job done. But
No, I agree
that's
that
that's
this is
just
not an excuse.
that's
It's
just us
not an
this season.
excuse, but it is what it is. Like it's still unfortunate, like it doesn't make up for the fact that y'all have been playing bad football, uninspired football, and all of those things, but it doesn't help either.